All right. Good morning, everybody. Can you see and hear me now? All right. Can you guys see me, hear me here? All right. Let's see. I think we had a little technical difficulty. All right. We made it. Thank you, sir. All right, sorry about that technical difficulty, but here we are. Thank you guys for joining. This is South Florida Academy of AC. This is our live virtual info session. I think a few people showed up in person. I'm really sorry about that. We're doing this one live. So we've been doing them in person for like 15 years, and we just started mixing it up, doing these live online. So thanks, Kathy. Nice to have you here. All right, and welcome. All right, let me just make sure we're all set and ready to go. Great. All right. So my name is Adam Ross. I'm the Executive Director of South Florida Academy of AC. It is awesome to have you guys here. So my name is Adam Ross. Oops. All right, thanks for sticking around, guys. I know it's been a little bit of a wait, technical difficulties, but we're working out the kinks, just like good old HVAC techs. Sometimes you got to work out a few kinks until things are going right. How can I make training? You can make training right here. We are all about training. I'm going to tell you all about it in a second. We're going to get going. I'm going to talk about jobs. I'm going to talk about what we teach. I'm going to talk about how exciting South Florida Academy of AC is. So you are in the right place. I'm just queuing everything up so that we are good to go. Let's get this going. All right. Ready to launch? 3, 2, 1. Let's do it. Welcome to South Florida Academy of AC. My name is Adam Ross. I'm the Executive Director. I'm so excited to be here. I'm so excited to see all those smiling faces out there. Well, I can't exactly see your faces, but I assume they're smiling out there. In my opinion, you are at the best air conditioning school in the entire world, definitely in the country, and most definitely in the state of Florida. And that's the one you're looking at behind me. We're South Florida Academy of AC. We launch careers. We teach you installation, service, repair of air conditioning, residential, light commercial systems. It's a lot of fun. And I can't wait to dive in. All right, so what are we doing today? I'm going to talk a little bit about who we are. I'm going to talk about what we teach. I'm going to talk about the jobs that are out there. I'm going to talk about what you get. I'm going to talk about what you get when you come through our program, okay? And we're going to talk about how to reserve a class and how to get started, and then we can all start our Saturday. How's that sound? All right, cool. So, you know what I'm actually going to do? I'm going to let you guys watch a video because they say a picture is worth 1,000 words. So let me put this video on. It'll give you a sense for our school, let you see inside, see an instructor too, see some students. So let me tee this up, and we're going to kick things off with a little video or two.
Coming in, I didn't really know a lot about AC. Now that I've been here for the last 3 weeks, I do feel very confident in my skills and abilities moving forward in the AC field. The school's definitely made the material easy to understand. In the mornings, you go through a lecture with the textbooks that they provide for you, and then in the afternoons, you get all the hands-on experience of things that you learned in the lecture in the morning. I would definitely recommend the school to others. It's definitely helped me excel in a way that I never thought that I would be able to.
All right, very cool. Now I'm going to show you one video here. So this guy, you're not going to believe this, all right? But this guy right here, he's not an instructor. He's a student, and he's been in school for a week and a half. All right, so listen to what he says, and remember, he's only been there. This is a testament to how well, in my opinion, how well we teach, because he's only been there for a week and a half, and listen to him. Oops, let's tee it up here.
And what are you guys working on here?
Hey, my name's Anthony, and we're basically running refrigerant from the unit into our machine. So that's what Jason just did here. That green machine is called a recovery machine. And the reason why it's called a recovery machine is because we're obviously recovering that refrigerant into it to be able to put it into this recovery tank. What that does is it allows us to go ahead and repair the unit. So rather than us going into the unit, opening up a line and having a bunch of refrigerant kind of pouring into our face, which we actually got to experience. Very cold, by the way. It's almost like touching sub-zero ice, like liquid nitrogen.
Okay, cool.
So he went through that process already. He already brought it through the machine. He's doing what's called a vacuum pump right now, or vacuuming out the line to make sure that there's no air inside the line. It's what's called a non-condensable. We can't condense air, therefore it creates problems in our units, which actually could be a reason why we need to go and repair. But sucking that out, after that suction or after that vacuuming process, he's going to hook that middle line, which is coming from what's called our manifold gauge set, into our recovery tank. Also take not only the air from the line itself, but as well as the entire unit, the condensing unit here. And then once we're able to pull it out of the system, we're able to, again, go do our repairs. We've already learned how to change this fan motor right here, which is actually what rejects the heat and takes it out into the atmosphere. We've already learned how to change a Schrader valve. Next, I'm sure we're going to learn how to do some repairs inside of that air handler unit.
And how'd you learn all this? Like, how long has it taken you to get this knowledge base?
So literally a week, we learned that process, that refrigeration cycle in the very first day. That gives us that gives us a foundation on what we need to know and what's going on in these two units. We expanded upon that, so you can consider that as like the foundation. Yeah. Expanded upon that foundation, and once again, I'm sure you've heard the saying, once you have a good foundation, it's a lot easier to not only learn, but also build.
Did you have any prior knowledge coming into this class?
Zero.
So you knew as much as I do?
Correct. Yep. Wow. Matter of fact, I have marketing experience just like yourself. I signed up with Ingram Air as a marketer and helped them build their residential side of the business, and because I had guys going in and out and actually taking me to jobs, I just fell in love with the hands-on process, being able to actually go and diagnose as well as fixing people's problems essentially, and that's pretty much why I'm here.
Within this class, what's the ratio of hands-on work to sitting and lecturing?
Literally 50-50. So half of the class we're doing book work, we're going over, like I mentioned, the refrigeration process on the board. We're using that knowledge to be able to apply to the hands-on, which is literally the other portion of the 50%.
That's awesome.
All right, pretty cool. I'm really proud of that. I think he did a great job. All right, so that shows you a little bit about our class. Remember, that guy was a student. He'd been there for a week and a half, and so he's now working in AC, and I assume he's doing great. I haven't spoken to him in a while, but imagine what you can learn in 4 weeks if that's where he's at in just a little more than a week. Okay, so that's who we are. We talked a little bit about what we teach: air conditioning installation, maintenance, repair, preparing guys for careers in HVAC, in construction. One day, maybe opening up their own business. We'll talk about that too. Okay, so let's talk about the jobs that are out there. So when you come through this program, super hands-on, right? Like what you see behind me, this is the classroom. So in the morning, we start things off with a little bit of lecture. We explain what we're going to learn for the day. And then after that, you're on your machines for the rest of the day, opening them up, taking out all the parts, diagnosing, fixing, replacing all day, every day. All right, so that's how you get so good so fast. And so when you come through our program, typically what people do is they start careers in HVAC either as service technicians or on an install crew. So service technician means fixing units that are broken. Install crew means putting new units in, either from like a new construction project that you're putting in a unit for the first time, or replacing a unit that's old and it's gone bad and you've sold the customer a new one. So you take out the old one and put in the new one. Also, people get jobs in maintenance, so that's going around to units that are already working and making sure they're in tip-top shape. People get jobs in sales. People get jobs in manufacturing. We have one manufacturing company that actually makes these, and then they hire our students because having an understanding of how all the parts work and how the machine works, sets them up for success in that manufacturing job. So lots of stuff you can do with this career. I would say most common is that people work their way into service as an HVAC service technician. Once you're on the job, I would say within about 6 to 12 months, and you've shown that you know what you're doing, you can show up on time, you're a good worker, you're a good teammate, typically the pay after that period of time starts to reach within 6 to 12 months, I would say $25 to $30 an hour. When you're just starting out, it's going to be lower because they don't know who you are yet. They don't know if you're going to show up, if you're going to show up on time, if you're going to steal the truck. I mean, it's construction. Crazy things happen. But that's typically where pay gets after 6 to 12 months. And then I would say that probably after a few years of experience, the pay seems to even out at about $35 an hour for an HVAC technician. But keep in mind, there's commissions on top of that too. So guys can make $100,000 or even more per year as a service technician because they're upselling. UV light, you'll learn about what that is. Selling a new unit, that's a potentially $10,000 to $15,000 sale. Some companies, I'm not going to say who, but will sell a new unit like we see behind me for as much as $15,000. And so when you sell that, companies usually have big commission programs for that. So you can be making that hourly rate. In addition, there's commission opportunity. And it seems like these days, everything is about sales, and how much, HVAC techs can sell to the customer. So there's a lot of money to be made in this field. Not to mention, there's a ton of building right now, particularly around data centers. That's the buzzword right now. Everybody's talking about HVAC contractors for data centers. And there's been some articles coming out saying there's unlimited, I love that word, unlimited demand for HVAC techs. That was the quote, unlimited demand for HVAC techs because there's just not enough HVAC techs and so much building going on. So that's exciting. Now, for some of you who $30, $35 an hour plus commission is not enough and they want to go buy Lamborghinis, there's an option for that too. And that is called going into business for yourself. Okay? Because if you want to make $500,000 a year, $1 million a year, it's probably not going to happen working for somebody else. If you want to get to that level, you're going to have to go into business for yourself. But the great thing about this field is you can do that. All right. There's a process. You need to get experience first. You need to get your contractor's license. But if you get your contractor's license, you can have your name on the side of the truck and it can be Jimmy's AC company. And I'm going to show you in 1 second, I'm going to put something on the screen behind me for exactly how much money. I really want you to understand how much money is really in this business because there's so much, people don't even know it. But this is where it starts. You start in HVAC school, you learn the foundation, then you go out, you get some experience, you take your contractor's exam when the time is right, and then you can have your own contracting company if you pass. So really exciting. Let me show you exactly how much money is able to be made if you go into business for yourself, just so you have a sense for the scale of what I'm talking about here. All right, so when someone's AC breaks, the number one reason why someone's AC system goes down is it's a bad capacitor. And what you're looking at behind me, these are called capacitors. Capacitors, you can kind of think of it like a little battery that goes in the machine. And all the millions of AC machines out there, they all have a capacitor. So there are millions of capacitors all over Florida, and they're going bad every single day. And when that capacitor goes bad, you have to replace it. You're not going to take an old capacitor and make it new again. You're going to throw out the old one, grab a new one from your truck, put in the new one. And this is how easy it is to do that. If you look at this capacitor here, hopefully you can see it's a little small, but on the top, there's 3 wires that will connect. It's kind of hard to see, but 1, 2, 3 wires, okay? Take out 1, 2, 3 of the old wires, grab the old capacitor, throw it in the trash, grab a new one from the truck, put it back, 1, 2, 3 wires, the new one's connected, system's working again. This is the number one reason why we see AC systems fail. That whole process takes about 1.5 minutes. And do you want to know what people are charging to change a capacitor? I would say the average price right now is $400 for a new capacitor. And I know for a fact, because we had a student in a class a few months ago who works for one of the bigger AC companies. He told us they're selling capacitors for $650. $650 they're charging. How long does it take you to disconnect 3 wires, reconnect 3 wires to the new one? Minute, 2, maybe 3 minutes, maybe 5 minutes for $650. And do you know how much a new capacitor costs? Look behind me. Look at this. This one from Lowe's, $4.08. This one, $11.58. So this capacitor costs maybe $10, and there's guys running around town selling new capacitors for $400, $500, $600. It's insane. Think about how much money that is. And it's the most common thing that goes wrong with HVAC systems. All right? So when you're working for somebody else, and they've got you changing capacitors all day, you're making your hourly rate. Once you reach this level of a little bit of experience, you could be at that $30, $35 an hour level. So to change a capacitor, including drive time, let's say it takes you an hour, you make $35. But when it's your company, when you're the contractor, when you're the boss, you make whatever you charge. You want to charge $400, $500, $600? Cost you $5 for the part? You put $600 in your pocket? I mean, it doesn't get better than that. I mean, how many of these could you do a day? You're not limited. I mean, you're limited by how many customers you could find. But there's millions of households in Florida. Everybody has AC. You have to have AC in Florida. So everybody's got AC. Every single AC system has a capacitor, and they're going bad all the time. The same way the battery in your remote control goes bad, these capacitors go bad. So that is how much money is in this field. And if you want Lamborghini style money, the way to get there is to eventually have your own AC company. It's even better. When you have your own AC company, I want you to come back to the school, hire our graduates, have them running around in the field, getting experience with you. They're the ones changing the capacitors, right? And now you've got a few guys, each changing a few capacitors per day. Do the math, and that's how people make companies worth millions of dollars. That's how you get to that Lamborghini style money. All right. So for a lot of our students, they've never had an opportunity like this. A lot of our students were bagging groceries at Publix. They're working for their cousin's moving company, bouncing around from one thing to the next. They've never had a real career with a real opportunity. And that's what this is. That's what we do here. We give you guys the foundation and the education to go break into this field and to have these opportunities open up to you. So that's why I'm sharing a little bit about this, just so it kind of blows your mind of like how much money is really out there and really in this business. That's what's so cool about this. All right. So we talked about jobs. We talked about going into business for yourself, which I just want to be really clear. You're not going to graduate school and go do this the next day. You got to go get experience first. You get experience, you work for somebody else, and then you take your contractor's exam, and you can, if you pass your exam, then you're able to do this. But there's thousands of contractors out there, and nothing's stopping you. There's nothing stopping you. Okay. Let's talk about when classes start. So we have 2 types of classes. We do classes, what we call full-time. So that's Monday through Friday from 9 to 4. And then we have the weekend version. So the weekends are Saturdays and Sundays, 9 to 5. Okay. If you want to understand the difference and which one's right for you, you can always call us. We'll talk you through it over the phone. The big difference is that the weekend class goes a lot faster. Okay. So the Monday through Friday, you're going to get 5 days per week. The weekend class, obviously, you only get 2 days per week. So the weekend class is a little bit less money, but it's less time on the equipment, and we have to get through everything faster. So if you have some experience in electrical or construction, or you're just really handy and you pick things up fast, the weekend's probably right for you. We're going to go a little bit faster, and if that's, you can keep up with that pace, that's great. If you want more time on the equipment, if you want to take things nice and slow, if you might need more time to review, if you're coming in with no background in construction, usually the full-time class is the right choice. About probably 70% of our students do the full-time class, 30% do the weekend class, but it's up to you. If you have a job Monday through Friday, you're going to have to come to the weekend class, right? You don't have a choice unless you want to quit your job. Okay, so the time coming up, Fort Lauderdale, Our next weekend class starts really soon, February 7th. That's in 2 weeks. That means that in a month from February 7th, you're going to be finishing and you're ready to kick off the hot season, the warm season in Florida with the brand new HVAC job that you go out and get, hopefully, with our help. And this time next year, you'll have experience that you could be on AC All-Stars, which I'll talk about in a second. Okay, so that's the weekend class, starts February 7th. The next full-time class starts March 2nd. All right, this is for Fort Lauderdale. And for Tampa, the next weekend class is February 14th, and the next full-time class is March 16th. All right, if you want to find these dates, they are on our website. So you just go to our website, all right, and then you'll click on this button here called Courses. And if you go down, you'll see all of the dates here. This is for let me get out of the way, for the Fort Lauderdale campus. See that all right there? So February 7th for the weekend, March 2nd for the full-time. For the Tampa campus, February 14th. How do I get out of the way? February 14th here for the weekend, and March 16th, the next full-time class. All right, so if you want to save a seat, here's what you do. I'm going to put a link in the chat after this. Click on that link. It's going to send you the enrollment agreement, fill out your details, select which class you want, and then it's going to ask you to pay $150, which is the deposit to save your seat for the class. All right, only do that if you know you want to save your seat, because when you do that, we are saving your seat for you. It is saved. So if you don't show up, then we have an empty seat. So make sure you really want to do it before you pay that $150. And because of that, the $150 is non-refundable. So make sure you know you want to do the class before you pay the $150 and sign up. We can always move the $150 to a later class or a different class. So if you decide that, if you're not sure if you want to do the weekend or the full-time, or something gets in the way and you have to push it back till the summer or something, we can move the $150. All right, so that's how you get signed up. In terms of the costs, let me ask you, what do you think it should cost to give you a pathway to have your own company where you could make millions of dollars, a pathway to a career that's in demand in a booming industry where there's not enough people, the skills that you need to start as an HVAC technician, where the rates typically, with a few years of experience, get to $30, $35 an hour plus commissions. So guys in Florida are making probably $70,000 base plus commissions on top of that. Always with that tease of, hey, you could go into business for yourself, make a lot of money here. How much do you think it should cost to give somebody the knowledge and the entryway and the pathway to be able to do all that? All right. I think that it might be worth $50,000, $100,000. I don't know. I mean, there are students that we've had who've gone into business for themselves, making a ton of money. All right. So, I think that, and especially most four-year college degrees, people leave with $50,000, $100,000 of student loans. So I think that's what our program's worth. All right. However, we do it for the low cost of only $5,995 for the weekend version and $7,995 for the full-time version. Okay. And we have financing options available. So you don't have to have all that money in your pocket. If you want to pay up front, you absolutely can. If you want to finance it, depending on your credit, we can offer you some type of financing. So whether you have good credit or bad credit, we'll find something for you. It's just going to change how much money you have to put down. If you have good credit, I think you can just put down the $150 deposit. That's it. You don't have to put anything else down. If you have bad credit, we're going to make you put down a little bit more money. But speak to our admissions team and they'll walk you through all of that. In some of the, in some locations with some classes, there sometimes are grants available. Like if you have bad credit and you can't put any money down, sometimes we do have grants available. So I recommend that you reach out to our admissions team and talk through those. Okay. And really that's it. Let me say one more thing of what you actually get when you come through our program. There's a few things that you get when you come to South Florida Academy of AC. When you do this program, come out on the other side. Here's what you actually get. Number one is you get that knowledge. You get the knowledge of air conditioning installation, service, and repair, and that's something you have for the rest of your life. You can work on your own AC system now. Think of how much money you're going to save by not having to give somebody $600 every time your capacitor goes bad for the rest of your life, right? So there's huge benefit to that, even if you didn't work in the field. But when you come through the program, we give you that knowledge of the installation, repair, maintenance of residential like commercial AC systems. Number 2 is you get your trade school diploma. So when you go apply for a job, you show that company, hey, I have a diploma in HVAC. I was trained. I'm coming day one. I'm not an expert, but I know enough to get started and to hit the ground running and to, be productive here. So you get your trade school diploma. Number 3 is we give you your EPA certification. That's good in all 50 states and it never expires. Okay, there's a test you have to take. You'll take it during class and that allows you to work in the field. If you don't have your EPA certificate, you're not allowed to work in the field. So we'll get you that. We give you access to a helpline. We call it the AC helpline. When you finish, we give you a phone number to call if you ever run into trouble on a job. So you're not out there all alone. If you're on a job and you get stuck, you can call us. All right, you can call us and we'll walk you through it over the phone. Usually we'll say, hey, text us a picture of the system, text us a picture of the label on the side of the system, text us a picture of your pressures, your temperatures, and we'll look and we'll talk you through it. Okay, so that's an awesome perk that our students have once they leave is they've got this infrastructure around them to help them with jobs. So we say, don't call your boss and look stupid, call us. We'll walk you through it. If you get in trouble, which usually doesn't happen because we train pretty well. So you get the knowledge, you get the diploma, you get the EPA certificate, you get the AC helpline, we give you tools. All right, so when you leave the program, we give you a starter set of tools so that you can take those with you to your first job. We give you access to AC All-Stars. And this is really cool. I kind of mentioned this earlier a little bit. So if you're working for an AC company, right, they're going to be paying you some hourly rate until you have your own business, in which case, you make 100% of what you take in, right? Well, we have a partnership with a company called AC All-Stars. They're an AC company. And they say, if you go to South Florida Academy of AC, so that we know you were trained the right way, and if you get 1 year of experience, so we know that you've been out in the field, you know how to talk to customers, you know how to change capacitors, we'll hire you at AC All-Stars and we'll put you on a 90% commission program. Now, I know you guys are kind of new to the field and that might not mean much, but a 90% commission is practically unheard of. That's like 10% away from being the owner, right? It's crazy. So that's a way that students coming out of our program without getting their contractor's license can work for someone where they're able to really make lots and lots of money. Now they have to find their own customers. That's the big difference. The company doesn't give them customers. They've got to find their own customers. But being on a 90% commission program is unreal. It's a huge advantage. And when the time comes for you, I'm happy to put you in touch with the guy who runs that program. He's really nice and he can explain exactly how it works. Basically, you're on his license, you're on his workers' comp, but you just have to find the customers yourself. All right, so those are all the things you get when you come through the program. I think it's fantastic. It's a lot of fun. It changes people's lives. And if you've never had a real skill, if you've never had something that gives you true opportunities where you can grow into financial opportunities to have your own company, this is an awesome place to get started. All right, so with that said, let me just see if we have any questions here in the live stream. Awesome. Okay, if you guys have any questions, go ahead and put them in. I'm happy to answer. Otherwise, I'm going to let me put in the link to sign up. Okay, that is the link to sign up. Let me do it again so it'll be a clickable link. All right, so that is the link to sign up. That's the link to sign up, put in your information, reserve your seat, pay the $150. You don't have to know how you're going to pay for the rest of class yet. We'll reach out about 2 weeks before it starts and we'll figure that out with you. If you're not sure if you want to sign up, if you still have questions, you can always call us. All right, we're here for you. I'm going to put our phone number in here as well. We have some wonderful staff. Catalina usually picks up the phone. She's amazing, speaks English and Spanish, and you can ask her all the questions you want. And if you want to speak to me personally, that's no problem. Just ask to speak to Adam. if I'm available, she'll be able to put you in touch with me. All right, guys. So thank you so much for coming today. I tried to keep that brief. Sorry that we got started a little bit late. We're also going to have in-person info sessions next week. All right. I know a few people came to the school today and they tried to open the door and it was locked. But next weekend on Saturday, we're going to be in person in Fort Lauderdale, and on Sunday we're going to be in person in Tampa. Okay. And you'll be able to see me there. So I hope you join. If you're thinking about it and you're not sure, you can ask us questions. We're here for you. We want you to be successful. Check out our reviews online. I think they speak for themselves. And yeah, I hope you guys have a great weekend. I hope you'll join us launching a new career in an exciting industry. And with that said, we'll see you in class.